Welcome back, fans and friends, for this upcoming video. I have what has become rare on this channel because they're either just not really good or the selection not available is poor. M2. So this is obviously not something I usually buy, the pickup trucks. And it's also unusual in that M2s moving past their 60s, 70s, and early 80s. And obviously this is a 1998 GMC Sierra 1500 4x4. And as we can see there, the most interesting part of it besides its cage is the snorkel. So a snorkel is basically lets it breathe underwater when it's taken off-road if you need to cut through a river or you fail at drowning. It allows the engine to breathe when it is otherwise smothered, much like when a person dives into the ocean. So once again, one of the great things about M2 is you can actually take out the entire thing and then put it back inside when you are done, and it'll still look great. So the one thing I do notice about this is the doors don't open. I'm hoping the hood opens. We can see it there, the cutout. So I will just quickly go ahead and do that. So there we go. So it makes it from a plain model to an excellent model. The doors not opening is not serious because we get a hood opening, and this costs, like I said, about as much as a green light, so you're not losing too much. I'll take a look at the engine last. We have the rear view mirrors, that's what I was talking about earlier, the snorkel right there. You can see it running from the right side of the engine. I guess we'll do that right now. And so here we have the engine, which I imagine is a V8. You can see the cylinders colored red, main engine part of it colored black. And so otherwise, other interesting points, it'll get more clear once I take it off. Actually, that's the first time I've ever seen this base. Is it because this is a much larger M2 and possibly heavier? Obviously, you can see this vehicle is geared towards off-roadish. It would probably, like I was going to say earlier, but I forgot, fit into Greenlight's all-terrain. Because obviously this vehicle caters towards that. The Sierra I have from them is way worse than this. I think it's just a vintage edge cars, and obviously it doesn't have these wheels. So this makes this vastly superior to that so far. The engine's done really well. I am actually afraid to open it any further. I will though see if I can pop the hood off, because you know the M2s, you can dismantle them. Anyway, we have GMC 1500 there, 4x4, and on both sides. The gas cap is really faintly done. You can just see it right there. Door handles painted on with spacers. We have the lights on the roof mounted into the back bed frame. And you can see there, just like the green light, it is held here with an elastic. I don't want to lose it, so I don't know if I'll be taking it out. The bumper is a separate piece. So there's that. You can see the lift kit of the truck. I will attempt to peel it off so we can take a closer look at that. So just quickly, before I carry on, you can see here the mounting frame. Unlike a standard M2, which the screws will be there because this is lifted really high off of the base, they have mounted this extender to put basically it forms a buffer between the frame and obviously this vehicle, which has been raised. So it is not by any means super easy. I don't want to break any of the plastic parts, and there are a lot of plastic parts. We're talking rear view mirrors, the cage, the snorkel itself. There are quite a few plastic parts, and unfortunately, one of my fears is stripping these screws. I've brought this up countless times. M2 uses very soft screws, so just be aware when you're pushing in to twist these things. The last thing you want to do is strip it, because then you basically cannot get them off. And I'm afraid that is what I have done. Alright, so I did manage to get it off. And so what I was speaking about there is conventional M2s, they have the screw just in there and right where it would be there. However, what they've done here is give you this little apparatus, which is obviously a little bit more complicated. It's made of plastic with the screws there. And basically what will happen is it'll go like that. and then these two empty holes will be what you mount exactly in the base. The reason for that, I brought it up again, is the you can just see, I'll put the screwdriver down before somebody gets hurt, is the suspension extensions. And as you can see there, what happened is this plastic piece, it just wants to come right off. Anyway, the one other thing I do see about this is the wheels. You see here, the back wheels do not want to rotate whatsoever. It's probably because it's too tight. But I do not want to, as you can see there, there's a gap here, but no gap there. So what's happened? The front wheel's free flow. Look at that. But also I think actually, you know what? It's this. It's the cage. It's the elastic cage. So if it rolls well, then M2 finally did a really good job on a vehicle. People will be more enthusiastic to buy it. So there we go. I was wrong. It is not poor wheel design. It is in fact the elastic. This thing rolls very well. So if you're thinking about getting this because it rolls very well, then there you have it. And here it is without the bed cage. I guess we can cover this a little bit better. You see there, GMC Sierra, nothing on the license plate, which is always a letdown. The front bumper extension, you can just see there, add-on. It's not like Greenlight where they have little pinholes and you can basically do it yourself. It's actually molded into the casting, but then this part here is plastic, this part here is plastic, the rest of it's all metal. You can see there, it's all the same shiny type of metal. Anyway, 1998 GMC truck used under license. It doesn't even say Sierra, so basically without the base, and obviously it says right there Sierra and 1500. It's not at all. I don't know if they're getting worse, better or worse at it. It's just one of those reasons why I don't buy them as often. Is they have a great, if one is done really well, it's a great product. But then they do stupid things like skimp on that, like 1998 GMC truck, and then what? Anyway, like I said, this is a very good competition to all-terrain. The one I saw a bunch of Sierras, so basically it was a series similar to this where it was just a Sierra and there's 3 or 4 vehicles. This is the one that I hated the least, and this is the one that I have right now. We can also see they did a decent job with all the wheels. People with pickup trucks will notice there's just one little gap there in the wheel, but it does not impact the vehicle's ability to move. You can see how well it rolls. It is extremely heavy for a 164 car. A nice addition to this probably would have been the winch. We've seen that on a Ford Bronco from Greenlight. It doesn't have to move or anything, but it would be nice. Perhaps they give you that instead of this. But overall, it's not terrible for something that I usually don't buy. You do get an opening hood. You can just see the engine a little bit better there. It does look really nice. Fairly unique feature, once again, I brought up is this here, the snorkel. You have the rearview mirrors painted black. Looks very nice. Classic steering wheel into the cabin. Nice and easy to see into. So there we basically have it. Not something I would normally buy from M2, but I think it worked out well enough. This is the Sierra 1500 4x4 from M2's, I don't know quite what series it is. There is a release on the base, and you can just see there WMTS17 and the 6th month of last year. So fans and friends, if you do like these sort of trucks, basically it's an all-terrain competition. You can see there 23 cast line, Goodyear for the tires, Jim for the car, and the usual cast line stuff, and that's basically everything. And then they include this for comedic effect, intended for highway use. Buying one will lead to another, and painted like no other. I brought that up a few times before. Anyway, they claim correct scaling, die-cast body, metal chrome bumpers, although this one specifically has plastic, and then rubber tires. We all know that and love. So, fans and friends, thank you for watching this video on something not normally done, and M2 is becoming more and more rare. But here we have it. So thanks for watching, and till the next one.